The Blues make their way into the quarter-finals of the FA Cup thanks to a brilliant comeback victory against the spirited Luton Town side. Watch until the end of this review to hear all of my thoughts on yesterday's match. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my review of the match that took place yesterday evening at Kenilworth Road in the FA Cup 5th round between Luton Town and Chelsea, which Chelsea ended up winning by 3 goals to 2. So what I'm going to do for you guys in terms of this review is that firstly, I'll run you through the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's match. I will then be giving you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and as always, I'll be breaking it down into the first half and the second half, as well as the positives and the negatives that I took from the match. And lastly, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this Saturday at Turf Moor against Burnley, with kickoff at 3 PM UK time. So without further ado, let's get straight into this review. Let's do it. So we shall begin by taking a look at the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's FA Cup 5th round tie against Luton Town. And of course, we're going to begin by talking about the formation he chose. And in all honesty, when I saw the personnel that he decided to field, which I'll get into in a second, I really wasn't sure what the formation was, because we had 4 natural midfielders on the pitch, and that really did make it difficult to figure out what the formation was. And the BBC displayed it as a 4-2-3-1, which it definitely wasn't. It was a 3-4-3/3-4-2-1, and yeah, one of the midfielders that started was playing as a centre back, and you'll find out who shortly. But yes, that was the formation, 3-4-3. In terms of the personnel he chose to field, or Thomas Tuchel chose to field, shall I say, he went with Kepa in goal. The back three was made up of Antonio Rudiger in the right centre-back position, Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the centre of the back three. Yes, you heard that correctly, he was in the centre of our back three, with Malang Sarr playing as our left centre-back. The midfield four, of course, including the 2 wing-backs, was made up of Callum Hudson-Odoi in the right wing-back position, Jorginho and Saul Niguez in the 2 central midfield positions, with Kennedy in the left wing-back position. And our front three was made up of Mason Mount in the right forward position, Romelu Lukaku up front, with Timo Werner in the left forward position. So that is the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's FA Cup 5th round tie against Luton Town. Let's move on. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the match, and yes, I will begin by talking about my thoughts on the first half. So let's get straight into it. Honestly, it was a very poor start to the match, and there's only one place that I can start, and that's the goal that we conceded inside the opening 2 minutes. Honestly, poor from us defensively for the goal, and honestly, we really should have done a lot better to stop that from happening. We gave the corner away, and with the fact that we had a lot of height and a lot of power in terms of physical ability in our back three, I am really surprised at the fact that we managed to get beaten in the air so easily. Malang Sarr, for me, is to blame for the goal that we conceded inside the opening 2 minutes, because he was the closest to Reece Burke, I think his name is, and he managed to just let him have a free header. Honestly, not good enough. And I expected him to do better, because he has been promising so far this season. But yes, a very poor goal to concede. But I have to say that Luton Town did start really well. They put us under bags of pressure, and it paid off inside the opening few minutes. After that, they did continue to put us under pressure, and in all honesty, we struggled to get into their half, let alone their final third, or their defensive third, shall I say, to correct myself. But yeah, it was really poor from us in the opening 10 minutes. Or opening 20 minutes, shall I say. after that period, we managed to get into the game. We managed to get some shots off, and we should have scored before we ended up scoring our first goal through Sal Niguez, which I'll get into shortly. Romelu Lukaku had, um, he did have a couple of chances, um, and so did Timo Werner and Sal Niguez. I'm not going to get into all of them, but all three of them had a couple of chances to score. But Luton Town did defend really well, and in terms of the goal, they gave the ball away in the middle of the park. Thankfully, I think Mason Mount was the player who picked it up. I'm not entirely sure who picked it up, but it got picked up by one of our players. Mason Mount got the ball. He gave it to Timo Werner, who then tried to get past one of the Luton Town players to get a shot off, but they made a tackle and it fell nicely for Sal Niguez, who side-footed it into the bottom corner, and it was a great goal. And while we were putting pressure on them, or while we did put pressure on them in that spell that we had, I have to say that it did come slightly against the run of play based on the entirety of the first half up to that point, if that made any sort of sense. But yes, it was a great goal, and I have to say, after we scored the goal, Luton Town got back into it. They really did. Um, we literally just allowed them to put more pressure on us, and we were giving the ball away quite cheaply, and we did it one too many times in the dying stages of the first half. And again, this was a very poor goal to concede. Malang Sarr again was to blame for this. He tried to play Harry Cornick offside and failed miserably when he tried to do so. There was a bit of a mix-up before Malang Sarr got caught out, but yes, it was poor from Malang Sarr. He allowed Harry Cornick to get through. It was a brilliant ball through, I have to say. He took a brilliant touch, and he just caressed it into the back of the net. And Kepa could not have done much about that, and he certainly couldn't have done anything about the first goal. But overall, goodness me, it was not a good first half performance by any stretch of the imagination, except for that little spell that we had. But honestly, we really should have done a lot better. But thankfully, the second half was a lot better. It was a lot better. And while I say that, it could only have been better because we were really poor in that first half. But yes, the second half was really good. We put them under lots of pressure straight away. We racked up the chances, and eventually we got the equaliser through Timo Werner. And I have to say that this was brilliant from Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who got the assist, and he was immense in the second half. And I'll get on to my overall thoughts on him in a little while. But yes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek put the ball over the top, and Timo Werner brought it down really well and just hit the ball into the ground so that it could evade rather the goalkeeper, who did come on for Jed Steer due to an injury, and I hope he does recover very soon. But anyways, it was a brilliant goal and a deserved goal because we were the better team in the second half up to that point. And 10 minutes later, we got the winning goal through Romelu Lukaku. And I have to say it was a brilliant team goal. Timo Werner got the ball down our right hand side, and he saw Romelu Lukaku in lots of space, and he just put in a low ball towards him, and he just tapped it in. And I have to say that it was a great goal. Romelu Lukaku, for me, did deserve that because he did work really hard in yesterday's match, especially in the second half. In the first half, he didn't have too many opportunities to get into the box. Yes, he did have chances, but if I'm not mistaken, they were from outside the box. But Romelu Lukaku did deserve that goal because I did think that he worked hard in yesterday's game. And yes, we all know about the interview that he did a while ago now, but he did do pretty well in yesterday's game, I thought. So fair play to Romelu Lukaku for that one. And after that, we just shut up shop and didn't allow Luton Town to create anything. Yes, there were still a few mistakes towards the latter stages of the match, but thankfully they didn't come to anything, because had they done so, it would have gone to extra time, and that is exactly what we don't need. given that we've played extra time twice in, um, not twice, 3 times in the month of February. We um, played extra time against Plymouth Argyle in the fourth round. We played extra time against Palmeiras in the Club World Cup final, and we played extra time against Liverpool. So the last thing we needed was extra time for a fourth time um, in the space of a matter of weeks, because of course we do have some important Premier League games coming up very soon, but I'll give you um, more detailed thoughts on that very shortly. But yes, overall, I thought we deserved to win. It was a good performance in the end. Yes, the first half wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination. By any stretch of the imagination, like I've said already, but the second half we dominated, and there was only one team in it really. Our quality shone through, and um, yeah, I'm really happy about that. But yes, in terms of the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, 2 positives, 1 negative. The first of the 2 positives that I took from the match is that we managed to get the job done. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, when we went 2-1 down, I thought we were going to get knocked out. And I know that's a bit of a defeatist mentality to have, but I'm just being completely honest, because we really did not look like doing anything. And I have to say that we were helped by Thomas Tuchel's substitutions as well. So we have to give him credit for making the changes that he did, because they really did help us. Um, but yes, that's the first positive that I took from the match. The second and final positive that I took from the match is that Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku scored. And the reason why I've listed this as one of the positives that I've taken from the match is because they are both, they were both running low on confidence, especially Timo Werner, who hasn't really started too many games recently. But yes, they both scored, and they both contributed. They both contributed to the winning goal as well. So we have to give them credit when it's due, and it's certainly due here. But yes, those are the 2 positives that I took from the match. Sadly, there has to be a negative, and the negative that I took from the match is that we were extremely poor in the first half. And the reason why I've listed this as a negative is because against um, the so-called bigger teams, if we play like that, um, then we will most likely get punished and get knocked out of the competition. But yes, I do understand why there was a bit of a lack of rhythm, because um, we didn't start with a team that normally play together often, and we certainly didn't do so. Um, we certainly um, did lack a bit of rhythm due to the fact that players were playing out of position. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi was playing as a wing back. Um, Ruben Loftus-Cheek was playing as a centre back, which is definitely not his best position. We all know he's a natural number 8. But yes, I understand. But if we are going to be in situations where we don't have um, all of our players available to play a certain formation or to play a certain way, then we'll have to get used to seeing players playing in unnatural positions, and we'll certainly have to get used to doing so, because um, our injury situation just seems to be getting worse before it gets better. But what I was trying to say is that we just cannot play like that. We cannot keep playing. Sorry, we cannot keep playing like that if we are to try and win this competition. Because, in all honesty, um, we're in the latter stages of the tournament now, and this is where we start to dream, and the dream will die very soon if we play like that, or if we play the way we did in the first half of yesterday's game. But yes, that's it for my thoughts on the match. I hope all of that made sense. Do feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I will do my very best to respond as always. Let's move on to my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this weekend against Burnley at Turf Moor, with kickoff at 3 p.m. UK time. Let's do it. Now, to finish off this review, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this Saturday at Turf Moor against Burnley, with kickoff at 3 p.m. UK time. Honestly, we have to win this game, and we have to win it convincingly. if we are to have any chance of getting back into the title race, and if we are to have a chance of not worrying about not making it into the top four come the end of the season. This will be a tough game, let's be honest. Turf Moor is never an easy ground to go to. Yes, we do have a very good record there, and since Burnley have been in the Premier League, we've not lost there. So hopefully we can keep that going. Hopefully the players are up for it. Hopefully we get the job done. I will be doing a preview for that game, so do stay tuned for that. But yes, that's all I can say for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all very soon. Come on, you Blues. Come on, Thomas Tuchel. And peace.